Preview time as we are almost underway with Copa America, at least the second day of it. And again, I want to be looking at the lineups that are already out for Argentina and for Chile, just to give you a bit of awareness of what's going on in terms of this in particular encounter. Obviously, it's the marquee matchup of the day. Many will be looking at what's going on there. And it'll be interesting to look at in terms of what this round will also offer. Of course, it'll be Paraguay and Bolivia. I'll come in and talk about that a little bit later on. I'll probably kind of condense that alongside my post-mortem of... Actually, I'll probably just do a preview of that, a preview of Argentina, and then, of course, a recap of what's gone on in the day. I'll probably do that. It's a little bit easier for everyone involved. Okay, Chile, Bravo, Isla, Medel, Maripan, and Mena. Backline of four, as it was mentioned throughout, with the absence of Alexis Sanchez and the return of Arturo Vidal. 4-4-2, as I mentioned, that backline. Aranguis and Meneses out wide. Pulgar and Vidal in the middle. Edu Vargas and Marcelo Palacios, the man from Internacional, is getting a chance for Martin Lazarte. So again, from that perspective, it seems like the Chilean national team is looking to start giving an opportunity to some of the younger players. Palacios, of course, one of the youngest players in terms of the national team call-up is concerned. If you look at, they talk about a team that's very long in the tooth. Yeah, it is. It's true. But then you also look at some of the players that are coming in. Carlos Palacios being one of the players that is being looked at. Don't be surprised if we might even see some of Ben Brereton for Blackburn. He might make his debut with the Chilean national team as well. You look at Tomás Alarcón, who plays over at Cádiz. You start looking at, Pablo Galdames at 24, Pablo Aranguis at 24. Francisco Sierra Alta, I thought he would get a chance, but at 24, he's slowly also becoming a role player for this Chilean side. So you have a lot of young players coming in. Now, the big question is, will they be good enough to replace some of these, references of this great generation of Chilean football? That'll be the big question. We'll have to see. That, again, only time will tell. I mean, overall, I like it. You have Mena bombing down the left. You have Isla doing the same thing. Aranguis will be the one that controls a bit in the middle, I guess you could say. And Pulgar also going forward. Vidal doing what Vidal does. I like Jan Meneses. Jan Meneses is one of the players, if you haven't seen him play in Mexico, he's a very exciting player down that left side. I really look forward to seeing him, as the León man has really been one of the standouts in Mexican football the past couple of years. I really look forward to seeing him. In terms of Palacios, I have to see. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities over Internacional, but the few that he's had, it seems like a very interesting prospect. Let's keep it there. Now, let's switch sides. Argentina with Emiliano Martinez, who returns. Now, it's interesting to see how that team played. Remember the match against Colombia, the game was pretty much locked down. I'm not saying it was done and dusted, but it was locked down because Colombia were sending crosses all over the place, and the player that comes out without much problem, it, of course, happens to be Emiliano Martinez. Just with that, that's the advantage that I see him having over Franco Armani. He comes off his line much better. He's much more solid outside of his line. So from that perspective, I give him the advantage over Franco Armani. Armani's a great shot stopper, but I guess you can say that Martinez isn't so bad himself. Montiel getting the start, of course, a very interesting player for River Plate, now getting the start over at right back. Martinez Cuarta, Otamendi, who's had a lot of question marks, and Nicolas Tagliafico getting the start over at left back. De Paul, Paredes, and Lo Celso. Paredes is the one that I worry about most, because of where at times he can end up being positioned or finding himself out of position. So when he tracks back or has to go back and defend, especially against this Chile side, or if he's pressured in the middle, there's a propensity to create fouls. And with that comes cards. And with that also comes some complications once you do end up getting that card of being conditioned and play going, along the wayside as well. Messi, Lautaro Martinez, and Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez is a good addition up top. Now, when he has to drop back and essentially becomes, or at times he's played in that sector and dropped back and become that fifth defender, that's not him. So if he starts playing in that function, you're playing a player out of position. And that's where it could be a big problem for Leo Scaloni. We'll see. It seems interesting. The chess match is there, and we'll see how things play out. And of course, as I mentioned, the bad news of Alexis Sanchez being out, keep in mind that he does need some recovery. He needs to have a full recovery, because with that type of injury, what ends up happening is one of two things. Either you have a player that ends up aggravating that injury because you literally can't plant your foot properly. Or number two, you end up injuring the other foot because of the compensation that occurs due to not being able to plant your foot properly. So you have to have a player that's 100%. And once he is, then that's all fine and dandy. But from the perspective of Alexis Sanchez, he needs to be 100% from that injury. If not, it'll be a very long healing process, to say the least. Okay. So again, as I mentioned, I'll probably jump in right before the Paraguay match against Bolivia, and we'll see what goes on there. And all right, well, enjoy your Copa America, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions, man. Let me know through here. And also, if possible, I might be able to just jump in and answer your question at some time, and we'll see what goes on. Again, enjoy your football. It's been great, and hope it ends up being greater. Talk to you soon.